It is Friday. It's March 14th. Thanks so much for joining us on The Wax. I'm Francis. Scott Gagliardi here with us this morning as well. We're going to stay on top of all these big stories for you throughout the day. Obviously, the developing news out of Waterbury. We've got a report on that coming up in just a minute. Plus the highlights for the UConn men after last night's Big East quarterfinals. Lots going on here this morning, Scott, and lots going on this weekend as well.
There is, we have the St. Patty's Day parades. So we have Milford and Hartford tomorrow. New Haven, New London on Sunday. There's some rain on the way.
Is it going to be a problem for people who are out and about?
I think we'll be okay, which is some good news there. Not so good news if you were really looking to see that total lunar eclipse last night. Look at all these clouds. Yeah, they came in at the perfect time or the most imperfect time if you wanted to see it. In terms of getting a nice view, other areas of New England certainly had a spectacular view. It was really just Connecticut. Even Rhode Island had some shots that came in from Providence. I know, the clouds really just snuck into the state. You got lucky if you saw any of the lunar eclipse here in Connecticut last night. But temperatures, they're a bit cooler than, say, where they were yesterday in some towns. Most areas above where we were 24 hours ago. Right now, 38 in Hartford, mostly cloudy. The skies will clear later on this morning and especially into the afternoon. First Alert Live radar scans the state completely dry right now. This changes, though, by the end of the weekend. Temperatures, notice the 30s and even a few 40s already right along the shoreline. Yeah, some nice changes there. They're up anywhere from a degree to as much as maybe 5 or 6 for most of the state. But notice Hartford, you're down 1 degree from this time yesterday. Wind speeds are relatively calm, up to about 8 or 9 miles per hour. We have that rain on the way, and as well as several big warm-ups. We'll lead to all that coming up in just a few minutes. Hey, Kate.
All right. Hey, good morning, Scott. Good morning, everyone. Let's get you a check here on those roads. If you're heading out and about this morning, heading to work, bringing the kids to school at 7:02. Live look here in Hartford, 91 north and southbound here in Middletown along Route 9. Starting to see a little bit of that traffic volume increase, but still moving very nicely as it is here in Waterbury, 84 east and westbound by the Mixmaster, and in Meriden along 691 east and westbound. No crashes, no major incidents out there. That daytime construction work picks up between about 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and your drive times actually are looking very good here to start your Friday morning. That's a quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers. Well, right now we're staying on top of this developing story. We're learning more about a horrific case out of Waterbury that's been captivating the entire country. Police say a woman imprisoned her stepson, leaving him on the brink of starvation for more than 2 decades. And now state lawmakers say they're investigating how that victim apparently slipped through the cracks. Your reporter Roger Suzanen has a story.
Yeah, a whole lot of questions, and we have learned that DCF, along with Waterbury Police, looked into this situation as far back as 2005, but somehow this victim continued to suffer, we now know, for more than 2 decades, according to police. Now, investigators say that this woman, Kimberly Sullivan, forced her own stepson to spend at least 22 hours a day inside a tiny 9-foot by 8-foot room for more than 20 years, often only letting him apparently drink toilet water. Now, last month, the now 32-year-old victim finally escaped by setting a fire inside his bedroom and then reporting the abuse to emergency responders. Now, yesterday, we learned that multiple people did contact DCF about this situation, and police investigated back in 2005, but they weren't able to verify that any crimes were committed at that point. DCF also tells us they don't have any reports about the family because they throw paperwork away after 5 years if complaints aren't substantiated. But yesterday, Children's Committee member and Connecticut Senator Jason Perillo said the state needs to launch an investigation.
Understand what the schools did, what they knew, what they shared. If there are folks at DCF who are involved in this, who still work there, those folks have to be talked to. Quite honestly, if there are folks involved who don't work there, DCF has an obligation to pursue them and figure out what was done.
Right now, Sullivan is out on bail. She has continued to deny any wrongdoing through her attorney. But one thing that she has refused to do so far is talk with police. She has not explained how in the world her 32-year-old stepson was just 68 pounds when he finally was able to escape. Another key question that we were able to answer yesterday is the fact that, according to police, no other family members are expected to face criminal charges. We know that the victim's father died last year. Reporting in Waterbury, I'm your reporter, Roger Suzanen, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, of course, we're going to continue to stay on top of this developing story for you all day here on air and online. You can download the WFSB app for all the very latest updates sent straight to your phone. 7:05 this morning, we are celebrating a big win for the UConn Huskies after the men defeated Villanova 73-56 at Madison Square Garden. Your sports reporter Mark Robbins has the highlights.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. I got to tell you, this old-fashioned Big East tournament battle at Madison Square Garden was much closer between Villanova and UConn than the final score would indicate. Huskies trailed it by 5 at the break and had to rally midway through this second half just to grab a lead, and they got it, getting the lead with about 8.5 to go. They had a 1-point lead, and then Alex Caraban and the Huskies, Liam McNeely getting inside, somehow squeezing in and getting that layup to put UConn up 3. Caraban leading the way with 18 points. Look at the quick trigger 3 from the top of the key. He was 4 of 6 from beyond the arc, and when he wasn't scoring, he was getting others involved. Look at the pass to Samson Johnson for the bucket as the Huskies, reminding me of the last 2 championship seasons, go on a 23-5 run to finish the game and finish Villanova and win this one by 17, 73-56. Your sports reporter, Dan Booth, was at the Garden for all the excitement and has this post-game wrap-up.
The whole game, the pro-UConn crowd was begging the Huskies to give them a reason to rain Go Huskies chants from the rafters at MSG. It took a little while, but with 8 minutes to go and the game tied at 51, UConn finished the game on a 22-5 run. Alex Caraban, who led the way with a team-high 18 points, knocked down 2 huge threes that brought the house down and led the Huskies to victory.
Coach talks about all the time, like wearing that UConn jersey, you got to take honor and pride with it and play with that swagger. And especially in March now, there's no better time to give everything you got right now and just play as hard as you can every single time. And you know, especially in March now when you want to win championships.
These are pressure games now. You get to this where it's like, you know, for players and coaches, like your last conference game of the year, you don't want it to be that. You don't want Samson Johnson's career to end in Big East. So there's that. And obviously with the NCAA tournament, you know, you got to have a little magic about you as a program where you have this confidence when this time of year rolls around that, you know, you think you're supposed to win. You believe you're supposed to win.
UConn's moving on to the Big East semis, where they're set to face Creighton, who survived a double overtime thriller against DePaul on Thursday. The Huskies split both of their games with the Blue Jays during the regular season, so that means we should be in for a fun Friday night fight in the world's most famous arena. With the UConn men's basketball team at Madison Square Garden, Dan Booth, Channel 3, Eyewitness Sports.
It's 7:08 here on your Friday. Happening today, a state rep is being arraigned after he was arrested for drunk driving. You'll remember this story. Police say they arrested Andre Bumgardner earlier this month right on the Gold Star Highway in Groton. That's a district he represents. They say his blood alcohol limit was more than twice the legal limit, so that is why they arrested him. Today in New Haven, Mayor Justin Elicker and Police Chief Carl Jacobson will be holding a press conference on 2 major cases. At 11 o'clock this morning, they'll be discussing last summer's deadly car crash that killed 2 people. Police say they arrested 18-year-old Rafael Serrano and 23-year-old Jared Stephen after that 3-car collision on Middletown and Barnes Avenues. Then at 11:30, the police will be talking about the deadly shooting of a 26-year-old man. Police say that man was a food delivery driver, and he was shot by Lachey Moore. She was arrested for murder. Friends and family of all 3 of those victims will be there. This morning, the Yale community is mourning the loss of one of their police officers. Sad story to bring you here on your Friday. Yale Public Safety says Officer Gregory Swantek died after suffering a medical event Wednesday. He's being remembered today for his thoughtful spirit and being the first to offer a helping hand. Well, today a government shutdown has been avoided. We're taking a live look here in Washington, D.C. after Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he will vote on a GOP bill that will keep the government funded through September. This after he said the shutdown would only empower President Donald Trump. All right, let's switch gears here this morning. Did you catch a glimpse of this? Last night's full worm moon with the lunar eclipse? Chances are you probably didn't, but we're going to show you some awesome images here. This one from Angelica from Newington. She captured this photo. And then this picture here, let's take a look. Our photographer Jenna Smith took from East Windsor. You can see that pinkish red glow there. So obviously behind the clouds, unfortunately for most of us, it was just too cloudy to see anything. But check this video out from across the United States. If you took any photos, we do want to see them. Send them on online or to the WFSB app. And I think Scott Gagliardi, you'll take a couple of those photos too.
I'll take as many as we can. That one that Jenna took, that almost looked like the Northern Lights that we saw.
It's pretty, right?
That's pretty. Yeah, look at that. That is a cool shot there. Wow. Just can only imagine how red the actual moon looked if you can get that glow even on the other side of the clouds. As far as what it looks like outside right now, though, it's cooler, looking at those 30s to near 40, still mostly cloudy. Those clouds, they will clear later on today. As far as our temperatures later on this afternoon, we're talking upper 50s for Litchfield County, the greater Hartford area, 59 in Windsor, 56 in Storrs, 57 in Pomfret, as well as Danielson. Even along the shoreline, looking at those 50s today, lower 50s though from Old Saybrook through Madison and over through Brantford. As far as we can expect this weekend though, there is some rain on the way and mild temperatures. We'll have the latest on exactly what you can expect with First Alert Futurecast. That's coming up with your First Alert forecast. Marcy?